Welcome, everyone, to CEO School. Today's special guest is our good friend, Elaine Hausman. She's joining us again. And today we're going to be talking about doing lives. Elaine is a video performance coach and image strategist. She rescues entrepreneurs and business professionals from committing video suicide. She brings her unique lens and depth of experience to capture every aspect of who you are and what you do in video. Elaine spent 18 years as a Juilliard trained professional actor and 22 years in marketing and sales as a consultant, company spokesperson, and educator in such diverse fields as concierge medicine and home fragrance. Through work on your content, your environment, your relationship to the camera, and how you present and connect to your audience, Elaine brings you and your gifts into focus and raises the level of your video to meet your expertise. Again, welcome, Elaine. It's so great to have you back.
I'm so glad to be back, and I'm excited to inform your CEOs today, Kelly.
That's wonderful. Yes, this is such a hot topic for everybody right now. And I'm going to start out by saying nerves. I think the biggest thing that holds people back is just camera fright. How are they going to appear on camera? And I think people, once the camera starts rolling, they just stiffen up. It's a real challenge, I think. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Kelly, it's one thing to do video at all, and that's scary for people. It's another thing to do live. Then you're either, further out there on the plank. It is scary for people. And I think the best things we want to discuss today are the things that can give us some control and some tools to work with so that when we do Facebook Live, it is not an out-of-body experience, because it can be. We know what it's like to get in here and we're floating somewhere up here. We haven't even landed to be able to really communicate and connect. So I'd love to focus on some of those things today.
That sounds perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I'm going to get on in here.
Okay.
So here we are. We're going to do live. And the best friend we have in going live is practicing with no one watching us. Whether it's on our business page or our personal page, we have the option to choose admin or just you with that little lock to practice before we have the experience of really going live. We can do that test. We can see what's going on, what we need to correct, and throw it away. No one's going to see it. And you might freak out all of a sudden. Oh my God, it's on my timeline. It's not public, just delete it. And the reason you want that practice is the number one thing to start with. 3, 2, 1. I promise you, 2 seconds after you're on the 2, you are already live. You are going to practice that to recognize where you are in that 3, 2, 1, because I promise you, you could be shuffling things, thinking it's a 2, and you're not ready for 1, and it's already watching you. So really find that timing for yourself, because it's one more way that helps you take some control and be landed for when you're ready to meet your audience. And there's another thing I'm going to mention too. We can be on different pages in here when we go live. Maybe we're on our business page, maybe our personal page, maybe we're in a private group. And in a private group, you may know Barbara, Joan, and Terry plan on joining you, and you are already there with your followers, people who really love you, who want to hear from you. So it's understandable if you say, take a quick bathroom break, do anything you need to do. I'm just giving a few minutes to people who I know want to join us today, and I want to be here to engage with their comments or their questions. So hang tight just a few more seconds before we get going. Talk your audience through what you want to do to set that stage for them so they know you're not sitting there waiting. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to be on a replay. And if there's anything you're sharing publicly, somebody who doesn't know you is not going to understand that waiting period. They're going to think you're unprofessional. They're going to think you're wasting their time. So that's one thing I really recommend. When you know you are live, get started. And if you aren't, tell your audience why you're waiting.
That's an excellent point, because people, you're right, people don't know why on replay that you're just sitting there kind of strumming your fingers.
It's true.
So let's talk about, okay, let's talk about, for me, I read the introductions, and it's pretty obvious that that's what I'm doing. Any thoughts or suggestions about that?
First of all, it was a mouthful, and it's kind of like, oh my God, I thought, what did I do to you? And I think it's really, we understand that you may need to read something as the interviewer. There is nothing that says any expectation that you should know this off the top of your head. And I will say, if you know, and I think you were doing it, but it is helpful if you want to put a Word document and make it very narrow and have it at the top of your screen, and no one's going to know you're scrolling as you read it. So that's kind of a helpful tool to use. But Kelly, it's very understandable, and you could even let your audience know. And just in case you don't, I'm reading this, you're allowed to take us with you on your own ride. And it's human.
Yeah. I think that for me is the biggest thing, is just what you said, bring the audience along for the ride, and perfection is not required. For me, I feel like it's easier to be transparent about what's going on than this isn't a newscast.
Right, right. That is engaging in and of itself, because it gives us all the experience that we're in this together. And we are not here to be newscasters. Some idea of perfect, I leave that to Hollywood. I leave that to a TV studio. That is something else. We're in here to be entrepreneurs, business professionals together, informed CEOs.
Absolutely.
So I think it's wonderful, that transparency.
So I will say, for me, I found that doing things on a live platform actually works better for me than setting up the cameras and setting up a script and then producing something that needs editing and all the things, because it does allow me more to be myself. However, I also know that just from when I started this process till now, I've become much more comfortable. And I think that goes back to what you were saying before about practice, which I will say that is absolutely something that I would recommend as well. I spent a lot of time doing things just by myself so I could see what my background looked like, if there were distractions, things like that. So there are a lot of reasons to turn the camera on yourself and just wing it a few times.
And practicing in Zoom is a great place to practice, record, and watch yourself back. Even if you're not doing that on Facebook Live, Zoom is the perfect room to be doing that in. But you're touching on something that's really important. And I want to get to a few more tools in here to think about, but you're talking about something important. If you are really still afraid of video, and there's a long conversation about how to really land in here more and more and find that connection and find yourself for that matter. But what Kelly's mentioning is really important, because you don't have to be alone in here. If you're afraid, grab a partner. She started in an interview process. That is really, really helpful. If you're afraid, being alone is that much more frightening. Begin video with conversations or being in an interview. That is a great way to start, because, everything's easier when you're not alone. It really makes a difference. So I love that you found your way in here in a way that really worked for you, and you have found your comfort zone. I love being with you. I love being in your very capable hands, and it's palpable for me.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I I have to say right back at you. Um, we were talking before we actually started the interview about things like lights and so forth. And I think there is you can do a live video with just what you have in front of you. Put your camera in front of you, maybe put a couple of table lamps shining so that you have good lighting, or sit by a window. But those are also things that give you some confidence if you feel like you're well lit, or your background is uncluttered, or you have, and that doesn't mean um, mine is stark. Mine's not uncluttered. Mine is stark, but not having, things piled up in a corner, things like that.
Right.
Um,
Just so that everything focuses as much on you,
right.
and at the same time kind of elevates things so that you feel that much more confident. I do want to really mention something. One thing that happens, especially in Facebook Live, I'm going to tell you my out of body experience. And we were talking a little bit about this before, so we're going to talk about your experience as well, Kelly. First of all, let's get transparent here. Kelly's talking and I'm sneaking peeks at her. I'm looking at her because I'd love to see the co-pilot here. And then I want to respond to something she's saying, knowing I want to give that answer that she's asked to the audience. So I'm doing a little bit of recognizing that she's there. It's understandable. I'm looking at her. We get it. And then refer back to the message I want to send that includes everyone, not just us, but the people watching, our audience. And it has to do with, when you get in here, knowing where to look. Because until you know where to look, you can't start developing real connection. Not enough to in one more way give you the confidence to help you land. Because when you've really got that connection, when you really know how to look and can focus your message, you're still not grounded in here. And also talking about lighting and sound, I'm having tremendous difficulty with my sound. If I could give back my new computer, I would. So here I'm hoping and praying that my sound is good enough when this is finished today. And I tested my mic and it didn't sound right. So we're just going to pray, and I better speak up again because I want to be heard. But let me mention this. When I did a Facebook Live, I knew from practicing and my experience in Zoom and my experience working with my webcam, here I am looking at my webcam. It has nothing to do with my audience. I have found an arbitrary place at least 3 inches below my webcam with a little piece of the end of a sticky note that I have taken and stuck it to my monitor so I know that's my lens. It's not my camera lens. That's my lens. That's that portal where I find my audience. And that is very grounding. Now, you can find it in Zoom. You can stream to Facebook Live, but you still better practice. It may not be in the exact spot when you go live in Facebook. And you need to do those tests. And at one point I was doing a Facebook Live. My piece of confetti had fallen off my monitor. So I was practicing using a template within Facebook, and I found my marker. I found that place I was going to use, and I keep practicing. Yes, I found it. It was there. We went live. The template moved. I had no idea where to look. And it was definitely an out-of-body experience. It's palpable. I am not anywhere. I mean, I'm hovering 10 feet above me, but happily, I really could sense where I needed to look. It really looked like I was looking at my audience because I was so used to kind of knowing that spot. But it is one way that is important, probably the most important thing of all, to find that spot. And I'm going to mention one more thing, and then I want to talk about Kelly's experience, because when you find that spot, get into Zoom, start recording yourself, talk yourself through it. I'm looking at my lens. I'm positive that's not it. I'm looking 2 inches below. I'm sure that's not it, but I'm just testing right now. Could that be it? I'm finding a spot that seems just where my eyes really naturally look ahead. Is that it? Record that, watch it, and then follow. And where do your eyes look like you're really looking at that lens you've created? And then put that confetti there. And it might take a couple of times to really get it down to know where you're looking. But that is one more way to get control of a bell and whistle in here, so that when you do go live, even if you're nervous because it's video, you go back to that thing almost any coach will tell you, video or not. If you're nervous, start focusing on what you want to share. What are you dying to tell your audience? Because that's why you're in here. And it helps us get past ourselves to get back to the heart of things, what we want to share. Kelly, I've talked a long time. Tell us about your experience in terms of that thing where we know we want to look at each other and yet needing to find the spot when we do want to talk to our audience.
Yeah, that for me has been a big deal. I look into my camera, which is what I'm doing right now, and it actually looks as though I'm looking above my audience. And so that one tip of just putting a piece of confetti on the screen in the spot that you want to focus on is a big upgrade for me. Because I often find that when I look at the playback of the videos, I'm not looking at the audience at all.
and Kelly, that piece of confetti, or wherever you find that spot, it's an anchor. I mean, it's something, it's like, oh, one thing in here I can count on. So it's really, really helpful.
Yeah, I love that tip. I do, because again, when you start to feel nerves building, as you said, focus is a great way to calm yourself. So,
Yes.
so I just love that. I think that's great.
And I'm going to mention something else in terms of things that are calming. The more you really feel and know who your audience is, who you've decided in your mind's eye, who is there, whether it's a person, a thought, a feeling. I know I talk to an aspect about people, not necessarily a person. I talk to an aspect of a person that I really believe wants to hear me. So whatever that is for you, the more you really embody that feeling in yourself and get very, very specific in who, what, and how, and when you are talking to that person or whatever that is for you, it's also calming. It's very calming. It's a kind of going home because I know who I am in here now, and I know who that is. I mean, it
That's a
could be,
wonderful.
it could be your poodle listening to your every word. No one has to know who or what empowers you, but it creates that bridge that can be so strong. And I'm getting more calm even thinking about it because there's love in it. We're here to connect in a very soulful way, I think. And I don't think that's too far from anybody's brand who's listening in here. And that's very connecting. It's very powerful for us. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
just a great uh, philosophy, and then also productive actual tips on how to ground ourselves and how to get rid of those nerves to
Yes.
be able to I know for me with doing an interview format, as you said before, that alone makes it easier because I'm speaking with an actual person and we're having a conversation. But I also do short form videos in the live format, 3 to 5 minutes. And I find when I do those, I do a couple run throughs before I do them. But because it's such a short format and I'm not worrying about editing, I'm not worrying about my ums and my ers and all of the speech fillers. I can just get a short point across. I don't have to memorize a lot of stuff. It's very fulfilling for me to be able to do those short format videos also.
You know, if you ever have me back again, we should focus on next content.
Oh,
I,
we're
I
having
would,
you back, Elaine.
I would love to
You
do
will
that,
be
but
back.
I don't know if we have time, but there's one more thing that can anchor us in here. And it really has to do with how we frame ourselves. I love the way you framed yourself. Hopefully I'm framed in here pretty good. This sometimes I'm a little bit, I show a little bit more of me. Something that can anchor us is really a visual and it's an energetic. Really find your space in this frame and claim it. And it will ground you, because if all of a sudden, you're from here up too high, but then there's air here, and take your space, claim it, and you will know when you play with that frame, you'll know, get in touch with it, and you'll all of a sudden realize, okay, now I'm seated in here. I'm not too high, I'm not too low. And you can really claim it in here. It's empowering. It adds to a real feeling of authority. And I don't think there's a person watching in your group that isn't an authority in their field. And whether in their field or not, for you to claim your own sense of authority for where you are at any point in your career. But it's one more way to feel grounded in here. So play with that too. And always remember, lighting, sound, make yourself as much as possible the focus. And I'm playing with some backgrounds. I'm playing not with using my green screen, because that's something else to think about. If you're going to stream live, keep this in mind. Whether you're an interviewer or you're streaming live on your own, various platforms Do not allow for the green screen. Zoom, if we're in Zoom today, if we decided I wanted to use my green screen background, it would work perfectly. Zoom allows for it. Things like StreamYard, Restream, Google Meeting, I'm going to tell you about that one. They do not allow for someone who is whether you're the host or whether you're a guest, to use a green screen. It means you have to add on another program to make it work. And honestly, I just don't think we're here for that many bells and whistles. We've got something to say. We want those things out of our way. So I will just say, keep that in mind. And it's why I'm working on using my real background, even if I'm not sure it's my brand, but nevertheless, using my home for a change. And keep this in mind. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you've used Google Meeting or not. Head for the hills. I love feeling beautiful in video. You will not. Something about that platform, and I've even heard people mention it in StreamYard. This beautiful one young woman says, it's aging me. Imagine if you're a little bit older feeling that. In Google Meeting, it's like there's this grayish band here. It is not a pretty sight. So if you want to look beautiful in video, which is very important to me, and represent myself well, think about your platform, because Zoom is especially pretty, but Google Meet, head for the hills. So,
Oh, thank you for that tip. Yes. One of the things I appreciate about Zoom is in the controls, they actually allow you to kind of zhuzh
your appearance, yes,
appearance. Yes.
yes. The Zhuzh clicker, yeah, wonderful.
So Elaine, this has been fabulous as always, and we are definitely having you back. But if somebody wants some in-depth coaching on their video performance and get 100 more tips, all the things that you know, how can they contact you?
Wonderful. Elaine at elainehausman.com, or please don't hesitate to put something in the comments below saying, Elaine, could you reach out to me? If I am your friend already, reach out to me in Messenger, but definitely Elaine at elainehausman.com. And there are many ways we can engage. I have free question and answer sessions. I have workshops that go into more depth from the ground up about video. And then working with me one-on-one, it all starts with a conversation, what you're looking for, what you need, and really a fact-finding mission and what I could do to help you. So thank you, Kelly. It's been wonderful. It's like coming home. I'm so glad to be with you again.
Well, thank you again, Elaine, for being with us. Every time we talk, I get new tips and new information. So it's been wonderful. Thank you so, so much.
I loved it. Thank you.